Would you bet your last dollar on French fries?
So I had 0 restaurant experience and only $18 left in the bank.
So why fries, and how did it explode so fast?
One TikTok got 60 million views, and the next day we had lines out the door.
And you made $8,000 week 1?
Sold out every day.
Wow.
People came from other states to see us, and now we got 8 locations.
So what's the secret to turning attention into income?
Well, I used 3 strategies that I stole directly from the entertainment industry.
Interesting.
There's one mistake that I'll never make twice.
Let's break down how James built Buena Papa to a 7-figure franchise, step by step. All right, James, where are we, and what is the backstory behind this amazing looking stall?
So we are in Raleigh, North Carolina at the Morgan Street Food Hall, and this is our first ever Buena Papa. So we opened this store in 2021, $18 left in our account. We spent our whole life savings.
Spent it all on this?
Spent it all on this. We built this thing by hand.
Wow.
We, meaning my wife and I, she's not here right now, but maybe she might.
1 second.
Make a little up here.
There she is.
There she is. She couldn't be here, but we actually built this store by hand together. It was a crazy experience. We opened on July 4th of 2021.
All the days.
I don't recommend that to any entrepreneur. Don't open on a major holiday. We sold out. We had no idea what we were doing, but we made a big splash in the community, and we're still here today.
What was the #1 factor to the rapid success that you saw early on in the business?
Well, I would say the viral TikTok video. So we opened July 2021. The TikTok video happened that December. And that's when this place turned into a madhouse. It was lines around the corner, lines throughout the whole food hall. The news started to visit us. Magazines started writing articles about us, and we had just opened up.
All from that one video?
All from that one, over 60 million views.
Can we go behind the counter and take a look? I know the space is tight.
Of course, let's go.
Okay,
let's go.
So your business is 100% centered around one thing, and that is
fries,
the potato.
The potato.
Most entrepreneurs struggle, however, to find that one thing. How did you end up sticking with fries?
Well, I mean, we knew that it was unique enough that not many other people or no one else was really focusing on just fries. And we knew we had the flavor profiles down. We were representing different profiles from Latin America that weren't being done here. And we know we had an interesting concept. And how it happened was, right, my wife is from Colombia. She makes a dish called bandeja paisa. It's Colombia's national dish.
Okay.
And it has chorizo, which is like a Colombian sausage.
Yeah.
It has chicharron, which is fried pork belly. It has beans, avocado, delicious dish. And she was making a dish, ran out of rice. And I said, why don't we just switch it out for fries? It turned out to be magic.
And you're like, I got to take this further, right?
Yeah, so
Develop the idea.
my entrepreneurial brain started rolling, and I said, we got to do something with this. So every week I would make a new dish to represent Mexico, maybe next week, to represent Puerto Rico, like places that people visit on vacation so they can come back and have that nostalgic taste.
All right, so you said your best advice is shoot first, aim later.
Yeah, shoot first, aim later.
Unpack that for us a little bit, because you know there's going to be a lot of people that disagree.
I know, I get it, guys. I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and would-be entrepreneurs, and what I find is people get stuck in the planning phase. It's great to plan, right? You got these ideas, you're writing them down and blah, 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 but you never get to the execution of the plan because you keep thinking about it and thinking about it. And your brain is like a playground for, let's procrastinate and not actually do it because it's scary. So I came up with, you know what, let's just shoot and we'll get the ball rolling and then we'll plan it later.
I can see how the planning almost becomes an excuse not to execute further.
Exactly. It happens a lot. I've learned that I have to be okay with like 70, 75%, and then I'll just go because you'll never get to 100%. And if you're waiting for that, you'll never move anywhere.
What do you recommend we try here?
Oh, you got to have the Americano.
Let's do it.
Sounds good. Let's go.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh my God, look at that. Wow.
So this is the Americano.
That's the Americano.
Walk us through the ingredients real quick.
All right, so you got hand-cut russet potatoes. Top with a little bit of aged cheddar cheese, cut up thick cut bacon, and we top it with our house sour cream sauce. And a little chives to, get the party going. Give it a try. First bite, here we go.
I love the cheddar.
All right, aged.
This being your first store, you had lines out the door. He had people coming from other states to try this dish right here. How's your Jacksonville franchise doing?
Oh my God, we're super duper proud of them, man. Since the first day they opened, they were selling out every day.
Like potatoes gone.
Potatoes gone, meat gone. People just keep coming, they keep coming. They did a lot of free marketing, which I recommend. They built up all their socials before they opened. So all they had to do was press the button and turn the faucet on.
Tell us a little bit about the entertainment side of things, your experience, and how did that teach you to create excitement in the food industry?
Oh, wow. So out of college, I worked for a person named Queen Latifah. She's like a famous actress. I worked for a management company. And we made movies and music videos and a whole bunch of stuff. But what I learned over there is it's all about creating a buzz. If you don't have an initial buzz around something, it's hard to recreate it later on. So we keep that same idea when we're doing a grand opening. We create a huge buzz. We hired a band, a salsa band.
Really?
So it's like, you know, we invited all the news out. Wow. It was amazing. It was amazing. So we're creating that, hey, I gotta see what's going on over there.
That makes sense.
And I guess secondly, invest a little money. So we invest in PR firms, because you don't have all the contacts in your local area, but they do. They have contacts with the news stations, the local bloggers, the local newspapers. They'll write the press releases and get you into those media spots to create more buzz.
All right, well, let's hit the road.
Let's go.
How many hours are we talking about?
Got 2 hours to Jacksonville. You driving?
I am. You're gonna hop in with us?
Yeah, I'm hitching a ride with you, man.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
2 hours later.
Nice. So this is the first franchise location that opened up.
This is the one. This is the newest iteration of Buena Papa, so we're really excited.
I'm excited to see what it's about. Tell us a little bit about your Shark Tank experience. I want to go back a little bit.
Gosh.
What was that like if you could go back and do anything differently?
It was an amazing experience. It was a scary experience. But literally, you're there for 40 minutes chatting in front of these people and negotiating. But we had all numbers together and we knew everything that we had to say. But of course, they're sharks. It's a bit scary, but we came out with a deal.
In hindsight, would you do anything different?
What I would do different?
That's something would be a lesson for our viewers. Maybe that will be on Shark
I would probably
Tank.
get a full night's sleep. We traveled for like 12 hours and didn't sleep at all. So what you see on there is pure adrenaline.
Out of that whole experience, James,
Yeah.
what was the biggest takeaway, the biggest lesson that you learned?
Well, the biggest takeaway that I learned is you need to know your numbers, not just for a Shark Tank experience, but if you want to be profitable restaurant owner, you have to know your numbers, your labor costs, you have to know your food costs, all your hard costs. And when you know those, you can figure out ways on how to pinch pennies and make money, right? And of course, in front of the sharks, they want to know the bottom line.
Right.
So it helps to know what your bottom lines are.
What helps to know the numbers? Can you give us
wow.
some practical steps to our viewers?
Of course, having your systems in place, but also using software, right? There's things that track your food costs, right? Work with your food vendor. Labor costs, we have an internal system that we use, and we know our hard percentage, which is 25%. We never go above that. We try our best. There's a lot of functional tools that restaurant owners can use and take advantage of it.
Why don't we go and order something different compared to the first location?
Let's do it.
What's the best seller here?
Mexicano.
Mexicano? Let's do it.
Let's go.
Cool. And by the way, this is Brandon, right? You're the owner of this franchise. It's good to meet your friend.
Likewise, thank you.
Can we get the Mexicano, please?
Mexicano? Yes, sir.
Yes.
Got everything on it?
Yes, just the way it is.
All right, yes, sir. We can get that for you.
How did you come up with the name and how did you know that it was it?
Very unique story. Okay, so Saturday morning, laying on the floor, my wife is on the phone with her mother, who is in Colombia. And her mom is saying something on the phone referring to a person. She's like, yeah, in Spanish, ella es una buena papa. And I remember thinking to myself, wait a minute, buena papa. And I knew in Spanish that meant good potato. But she used it to say, like, you're a good person. You're a buena papa.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Or if it's a cool party, buena papa. So I told my wife, hang up the phone immediately. It was like, I saw a ghost. She was like, what is it? I was like, I have the name. She's like, what name? I was like, for the business we're working on. And I said, Buena Papa, right? And there was born from there.
That's cool. I'm sure your wife was in agreement, even though
She definitely was.
she canceled the phone call with mom.
Well, mom is happy now that we're growing in business, you know, and it's all because of her.
Yeah. Let's go back there and check out what the team's doing, the prep work a little bit.
Let's do it.
See the behind the scenes.
All right. Hey, going in, bro?
Cool. Oh man, this space is quite a bit larger than the first one.
Definitely larger. Definitely larger.
A lot more breathing room here.
Yeah,
guys.
we can move our elbows a little bit.
Let's talk about the early days. Yeah, in terms of running the business, running that location, what are some things that pop in your memory like, oh man, I should have not done that, or?
We were rocking and rolling at that time, making lots of sales, lines around the corner, but always over-portioning our meats and our proteins.
Interesting.
So bringing in lots of money, but losing lots of money on the back end as well, right? Because we didn't know our portion sizes.
So you were being very generous on the portions.
Oh, I mean, we were
that's
double.
good for the customer.
They loved it.
Can't
They
complain.
loved it, man. I mean, it looked good on the outside, but on the in our bank account, we're bleeding profits.
When did you realize, like, I can't do this anymore? Like, what was that turning point?
Well, I had to sit down with my advisor, my wife, and we talked about it, and we're like, something's wrong here. We thought maybe we need to bring a professional into here, like, to kind of like walk through with us and kind of just take notes, what's going on. So one of the first notes they were saying, like, you're serving too many potatoes. And do you have an exact portion size? We were like, no, it's just kind of give it until our soul tells us not to give it anymore, you know?
You've got a generous soul, my friend.
Yeah, I do. But we got to be smart about business, right? So he pointed out a lot of those things, and we made those changes immediately and saw immediate effect in the bottom line.
What did you learn about margins, numbers in general through that experience? I know you called the advisor and so on.
Yeah.
Can you share more details?
So, I mean, one thing that stuck with me is that there's two ways to make money in the restaurant business. And one is making a lot of sales, and the other is cutting costs where it makes sense. So what we learned was when we were over portioning, we learned that the customer was actually satisfied after the first couple of bites. So we were serving way too much, and they will still be satisfied if we gave them a little bit less, right? As well as labor costs, right? A lot of times when we got super busy and I don't know, a thunderstorm will come through and people, the customers started drying up a little bit. We never thought in the beginning, hey, maybe we should start staggering the staff to go home, right? And to save on labor costs. We never thought that in the beginning. But after the consultation, with the consultant, we're like, all right, if we're not that busy, maybe some people should go home. What we try to do our best is keep our bottom line at 20 to 22%. So, I mean, in the industry, I think that's way above average.
Yeah.
But the secret is our biggest cost is potatoes.
James turned a simple French fry restaurant into a 7-figure empire by setting himself up for success from day one. Because properly setting up your business is what lays the foundation for its growth. And just like cooking up the best French fries, the process should be fresh, simple, and without the hidden junk nobody asked for. That's why millions of entrepreneurs have turned to Busy to launch their businesses. Most business formation services are like soggy drive-through fries, overpriced, overprocessed, and full of disappointment. But with Busy, you get a bootstrapped, founder-led service built by real entrepreneurs to help simplify the process of launching a business with one clear, upfront fee. It's just the basics done right: LLC formation, compliance tracking, and Busy tax support when you need it. Plus, every new business gets a free registered agent plus state fees for the first year. No mystery costs, subscription renewals, or tedious paperwork. With Busy, cooking up a 7-figure business of your own is just a few clicks away. So join the millions of other entrepreneurs who fired up their businesses and click the link in the description to get started today. All right, blitz time with James. You ready?
Oh boy, no, but let's do it.
All right, if you could sell one fry topping for the rest of your life, which is it?
Quad sauce. Quad sauce.
What's the weirdest DM or comment you've ever received after going viral?
Oh wow. Do you have vegan fries?
Okay.
They're already vegan.
That's weird. What's one thing most people assume about your success that's completely wrong?
That it was overnight. It wasn't.
If BB could collab with any fast food chain in the world, who would you pick and why?
Kava. I'm in love with Kava. Because we're kind of similar, but they do rice and salad and our base is fries. And they're just super cool.
Cool. Give us one reason why someone shouldn't do what you're doing and one reason why they should.
Because I'm crazy, and so don't go crazy and do it. And one reason you should do it is because it's crazy and it works.
Good. If you weren't in the food business, James, what niche would you be in?
Entertainment.
You say that 75% of success comes from branding.
Oh, yeah.
Doing it the right way. What would you say are the biggest misconceptions that entrepreneurs may have about branding? Maybe not doing it well early enough.
Yeah.
And so forth.
People may have a good recipe. You got grandma's soup recipe or, Nana's sauce, gravy sauce, and you think that is gonna sell just because it's tasty. But if people don't know about it and where to find it and how it looks and set apart from everything else, it's hard for them to identify you, right? So that's why branding from the beginning is super duper important, because it makes you different than probably 75% of the other people, right?
That's true.
When you're coming into the game, you're competing with the other big dogs. Unless you just wanted to be seen as a mom and pop. At Buena Papa, we wanted to, be looked at as a big dog. So we knew branding was going to be super important. And now when you see yellow and black and you see the burlap, you know that is Buena Papa.
Yep.
And so it just sets you apart.
Is this wall in every franchise? And what's the story behind that? Give us a little tidbit.
So we call this our selfie wall, and it's all about branding again and marketing. So we kind of encourage guests to come take a picture with their meal and take a selfie right in front of the wall, right? And what is it doing? Two things. We're getting free advertisement. The guest is putting it on their social medias. They're tagging us, and then it's branding all in the background, right? So I think a secret that we use, we put this in every franchise, and other restaurants should do it. It's a way to set yourself apart, to be known, free advertising.
You kind of answered my question, but let me ask it anyway. Social media is clearly the biggest part of your success here, especially that TikTok video. 15 mil views?
15 mil views, man.
Nuts. How are you leveraging it besides this that other business owners are not and should probably?
Right. Mom and pops, there's a free tool that's free to you. You have social media, you have a phone, you have marketing right there. It's built in. And what I'm noticing is that people don't want to see manufactured or professional videos anymore. They want to see real raw footage of what that experience is. Customer reactions. Hey, how do you enjoy the fries? That's a raw experience. It's getting you a review immediately, right? And it's sparking the interest of whoever's watching that social media platform. But man, I should go visit that place.
Yeah.
It looks really cool, really tasty. And I would say be consistent. Daily post. Like people overthink it. Like I was having a conversation with a franchise partner recently. I said, don't overthink it. Just do simple videos, post them as reels, let them roll. Send them out. Hashtags. Hashtag your local area. Hashtag whatever food you're offering. It's gonna find the audience.
What's your advice to dreamers who never seem to execute?
Oh man, this is a good question because I am a dreamer. If you have a dream and if you have passion, you've made some sort of plan, follow it unwavering. Like don't waver from it. You're gonna hear a lot of no's. You're gonna feel fear, but just keep pushing through because if you have passion for it, it will happen. And you are your only fuel. You have to encourage yourself through this journey. This is entrepreneurship. This is how the entrepreneurship world lives. I'm a dreamer and look, dreams come true.
The crazy part is you weren't dreaming about potatoes and fries.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't.
You saw an opportunity and then that itself became your passion. So can you give us more details about how that works?
I would say that any good business fulfills some sort of problem, right? What we do is not unique. Other companies do loaded fries, but have they ever done it in a Latin style? No. You know, had they done hand cut? Not a lot of them. So once you find like a little lane or niche that you can get into, that's a perfect spot that you can fit into and expand.
I'm sure online we can come up on some discussions where they say, you know, social media doesn't work like it used to, quote unquote. What do you say to them?
They're wrong. They're using it incorrectly, right?
That's a good point.
People of my maturity, I'm a little older, right? We think of traditional advertising like TV ads or maybe a print ad in the magazine. We think of social media as something the kids do, right? Along the way, people used to only do paid ads for social media. Paid ads may be going to the wayside, but organic is still there. Organic, real things are still there. So organic, raw footage, that is what moves people now. You know, they get turned off by paid ads. So they see a shiny ad and they're like, I don't see it. But you see somebody just sitting out eating, oh wow, what are they doing? So they're more attracted to that. So to answer that question, paid ads may be going to the wayside that look clean and shiny, but raw, true, genuine interactions aren't.
All right, I'm excited to try the Mexicano. It looks like it's finished. You want to go share it with me?
Let's go. Let's go, man.
Oh man,
Mr. Cole, order's ready?
that looks amazing, Brandon.
Yes, sir.
Look at that, man.
Like there's no joke about the amount of food you're getting, right?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
This is like perfect for families. All right, as we sit and let this marinate a little bit, which is really hard to do actually, it smells incredible.
Yeah.
Walk our audience through the year-over-year revenues for the original location.
Oh, wow. So the original location is very unique, right? 200 square feet. So we're doing about 650, 700,000 over there. We started at half a year, so we did about 300,000. And then we had that viral year. We almost did 1 million. But that can't be repeated. It was crazy. We almost died. It was so much work. So on average, a store should be doing about 700 to 800,000.
Can't wait to try the Mexicano. The Americano was amazing.
Yes.
Let's see the difference here.
Hey, carne asada.
Carne asada, the big deal. Bon appetit.
Buen provecho. Oh, man. Delicious.
Wow. Try that guac sauce,
is really
man.
good.
What's the deal with carne? Tell our audience, like,
So
it's
the
not
carne-
just a cut of meat.
No. So
There's a whole process
it took
there.
us about 6 months to come up with that recipe. 14 different ingredients, marinated for 48 hours. And this is one of the fan favorites across the board.
Wow. I love the carne. I'm a big fan.
Good.
What is your desire to continue to scale this nationally, even potentially globally? Because obviously you're profitable in one store.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yeah. Honestly, since we started franchising, I really want to focus my time on the franchise partners to give them 100% of me, right? Meaning that I want to give them all the support they'll need with their staff, with the ideas, with marketing. And for me, I want to push towards that because if I can give my all to them, they can replicate the essence of Buena Papa.
Just like James mentioned, there's a lot more to social media than just posting content. Check out UpFlip's viral marketing course with Frank, who built a $2.2 million business without spending a dime on ads so that you can ensure your content is driving leads and conversions and so forth. So check out the course in the description below. What's been your #1 most consistent customer acquisition strategy?
I would say it has to be social media, either TikTok or Instagram. Anytime we're introducing a new product, we'll do a reel And from that reel, we get customers in.
You're doing the reels. You taught your employees, team members to do the reels.
Well,
How does that
I do
work?
some of the reels. My daughter's head of marketing. She does a lot of the reels. And we hire supplemental people.
Outsource?
Yeah, outsource as well.
I feel like you can overdo it rather than just do it. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
Right,
Just doing it is the strategy. Just getting the content out. Like, don't overthink it. Don't plan on planning. You know, a lot of people just like, I gotta, just put it out. Put the content out. Let it be raw. And if you have an attractive product, people will be attracted to it.
If you could use one marketing channel across all that's available,
Yeah.
which one would it be and why?
Today, in this time, I would say TikTok. Because TikTok has surpassed Instagram, and the target market we're targeting, that's where they live at. But most of our success came from Instagram, but I would say today, in today's time, TikTok.
This is clearly a very personal business for you. It embraces your wife's amazing Colombian culture. The question is, how important is real purpose behind building anything?
Wow.
I feel like there's a lot of history and culture intertwined in everything, so give us an insight.
Just here in the store, in the branding, there's a lot of purposeful things. Like, I have my wife's family here, ingrained, enshrined forever, because it's a reminder of where these recipes came from, right? The idea of it. And our mission is to bring community together to experience flavors and culture. So we're introducing new culture, Latin flavors through our food, through a genuine base that everyone's familiar with, which is French fries.
Is being passionate about a specific subject the key to success oftentimes?
I would say definitely, because in this entrepreneurship world, there's gonna be tons of ups and downs. So when you're high, you're feeling great, and when you're down, you're feeling down. I mean, it's low. If you have passion, it can push you through those down areas, those valleys. So the passion is the igniter, and the fluid, the fire that keeps you going when everything goes down. And without the passion, just maybe you might walk away from it, right? So that's why I always say you need passion when you're doing something.
What are the 3 steps, ingredients that every entrepreneur needs to know when they're launching a brand to create incredible demand?
First, you want to lock in the look, right? And I stole this from the entertainment industry. So it attracts the eye, just like in the entertainment industry. All the superstars, they look like, golden statues, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing is creating a buzz around that sexy thing you have made, right? And so you create a buzz, PR, social media, utilizing those tools to get the word out that you exist. So third, you want to keep the social media presence alive. We just can't leave the customers hanging. So we got to be consistent in our posting. So we're always in front of their face. And it becomes an echo chamber of whatever your product is. In our case, you're an echo chamber of Buena Papa fries.
Now, the 3 secret ingredients that you mentioned, do they work for other businesses, say e-commerce, or it's more relevant to the food industry?
Right now, we're applying it to the food industry. But again, I took it from a totally different industry.
That's right,
so I think these ideas can be applied to any industry. You just have to tweak it a little bit to make sense for your product. And it's all about, and remind them that you exist. So it's using those 3 components just to get in the customer's face and make them love you.
PR can be controversial. Some people say it works, others say it's a waste of time. What's been your experience with it?
Well, PR has been baked into the inception of Buena Papa. PR for us is everything. Before we had an actual brand, we were thinking of how could this pop to the outer audience, or to make ourselves known, right? So we actually hired a PR person from the beginning, as soon as the store opened.
Not a typical business model, you would say, right?
Yeah, it's not a typical business model, but I have an entertainment background, so I kind of entertain all that glitz and glamour into the food business, and it works for us.
How did Shark Tank's exposure change your guys' trajectory altogether?
So, Shark Tank changed our whole roadmap. We thought we would grow at one store every 2 years, and, we thought franchising was far away. But now all that has sped up 100 times a speed, of course. After Shark Tank, you received, over 5,000 inquiries for franchises.
No way.
And we weren't structured enough to kind of get to them right away, but we didn't expect that windfall. So now we're just trying to fill those markets where we're getting calls for a Buena Papa, and this is part of that.
Yeah. So being on Shark Tank is a good thing potentially. Like it's one of those blessings in disguise.
So it's a blessing in disguise. I'm glad we got a deal.
If you don't get a deal, you get the PR from it.
You get some exposure, right?
Yeah.
And exposure is always good, right? And hopefully Mr. Wonderful is not chewing you out.
Well, I'm gonna give you an Ichiwa Caramba. It's pretty good.
We ended up on the good side of it.
If you could travel back in time and go back to like one of the most challenging moments for you, what would you tell yourself in that moment?
Okay, so a challenging time we had was we went viral and lines are around the block and we're selling out every day and we're not making money. So I would tell myself, maybe before that time, we should have known our numbers. right?
Gotcha.
We should have known portion sizes. We should have known about labor hours and when it's time to shift and pivot.
And you didn't know any of that.
Zero. We were just selling
You were
potatoes.
really winging it.
Winging it like a bird. You know, it was crazy.
So your wife and family are part of the business. So how do you approach the boundaries of life,
boy.
work, family?
My wife is my business partner, and she happens to be my wife as well, right? We've made a hard turn-off time now. So when we're laying down and having pillow talk, it's no longer about Buena Papa. Although we love Buena Papa, you kind of got to keep that space sacred. And to all the entrepreneurs out there, I know you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Good point.
But you need to put boundaries, right? Because entrepreneurship will overrun your life. And my family and my sons and daughter, we just make time for each other. And when we're in the business, we're still having fun. My daughter works with me a lot of the times, and we just like dad and daughter, but while doing work. So it's a good time, but you have to have hard boundaries.
How does your HR background help you with hiring today?
I was in HR for about 10 years. So I understand behavioral interviewing and hiring. You're thinking about their past experience and predicting their future performance, right? So we use that a lot for managers and helps with the psychology of how they might perform as a manager.
Comes with experience, obviously.
Comes with
right?
experience, right?
It's not an overnight thing that you get good at.
Nah, I would say my experiences kind of put me a little bit above the rest with that.
How do you teach that to others, franchisees and so on?
Well, what we do is we provide hiring guides. So we've laid out all the questions that you need to ask that are behavioral questions. So you don't really have to think about it, right? And they just ask those questions and we provide a key of answers that they should be looking for. And if it matches up, that's a good hire. That may be a good hire. And for our just regular team staff, we hire on personality and not skill. Because most of our team is front facing, and we want them to have a bubbly personality, relate to the customer, make the customer feel comfortable, and we can teach you the rest.
What's the biggest challenge for building a team?
Well, it's about developing and teaching the culture. In our hiring process, our onboarding process, we go through the whole culture of who Buena Papa is, why we do what we do, how we're a family environment, and we really try to have our team members take that on for themselves, right? So that we're all treated like family. It doesn't happen, mysteriously and cohesively all the time, but it's always our goal to get everybody in that circle of love of Buena Papa, and it makes for a better working experience.
Some entrepreneurs, I think actually a lot, don't consider themselves numbers people, right?
boy.
So they run businesses, they think they're profitable, and they may be. Were you like that? How did that evolve, and why is it so important to know your numbers?
Well, I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, 20 plus years, and I thought I was a numbers guy, all right? I thought
you were?
I thought I was. Negotiating contracts, negotiating leases and things like that. I knew those numbers. But when it came to the food business, I knew nothing about those numbers. I was completely green. And I believe that's why the failure rate of restaurants is pretty high, right? Because again, you have this grand idea, you have a budget, and you're putting all this money into the budget, into the idea, but not thinking about, how is this dish actually costed? How much does each ingredient cost and how much I'm going to sell it for? And that's how you become profitable. I didn't know those numbers at first.
Yeah.
Now I know.
Cool. So essentially, if you want to succeed in the restaurant business, start with your numbers.
Start with your numbers, first place.
Where are your profit margins today, and how are you able to keep them where they are?
So today we're hovering around 20 to 22%.
No way.
Which is
For
super
a
duper.
restaurant?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
For a QSR, it's amazing.
What's the secret then?
The secret is
Probably the potato.
potatoes. So that's our
knew
biggest ingredient, right? And it's our most low cost ingredient.
Yeah.
And of course, I negotiate a super duper great deal with our vendor for these potatoes. Now the secret to keeping the costs at that rate is always be negotiating, right? So you don't negotiate one time and sit down on your laurels. No, you're on the phone with vendors every other week. Hey, I noticed this is inching up a cent or two. Can we come down? Can we have a rebate on this? So it's not a stagnant thing. It's always moving. If you're paying attention to all those little data points, you'll have a profit in your pocket.
If you've ever wanted to have a proven concept with real momentum behind it, then a Buena Papa franchise may be what you're looking for. It's a fast-growing food brand with viral following, bold flavors, and a marketing engine that generates crazy demand. Grab your special UpFlip link in the description below and learn more today. How should entrepreneurs think about risk? Give us the mindset behind that.
If you don't take risk, you're not an entrepreneur, because everything you're doing most times is new or you're improving on something else. So that innately involves a risk. Every day, there's some kind of risky decision you're making, and you're looking for the upside of that decision rather than where you could land at. Because if you're always thinking about failing, you'll never go forward.
That's true.
All right.
Well said.
Yeah.
What did Mark Cuban tell you about franchises during the Shark Tank episode?
Mark had some very sage advice. He told me, if you're going into the franchise business, you're going to be a babysitter.
You're going to be a babysitter.
A babysitter. Meaning that, people are giving their life savings pretty much to use your idea, your design, and they have no idea how to do this. So you are essentially babysitting them along the way until they pick up and are in the routine. But I wouldn't really say babysitting.
You want to say, did that turn out to be true? Or?
I mean, you are holding hands, right? And you're guiding them, but babysitting is a little strong, Mark,
How long did you prep for the Shark Tank pitch?
Don't talk about the Shark Tank pitch. Oh my God. About 4 months, man. 4 months.
Like in the mirror?
No, we would record ourselves, my wife and I, and it was grueling. We would do it like 4 hours a day, a lot of tears, it was grueling.
Do you think that was too much? You started overthinking?
No, man,
what's a good lesson to take away from that?
I think you hurt yourself or you put in all the work in the beginning so it kind of flows afterwards. So once we were on screen, it looks like we're flowing, but that had been 4 hours a day for 4 months.
Wow.
A lot of tears and a lot of headaches before then. But it's like in anything. You put the work in beforehand and you can coast later, so.
What's your approach to creating content that actually drives sales, not just clicks?
Well, it's about making whatever food product you're featuring irresistible, right?
How do we do that?
Here we have a lot of things to play with, right? We got our melted cheeses nice cheese drip, fried tosses, and it draws people to want to come and not just click like. You want to click like, and then you want to run down to the restaurant and try what you just saw.
What's working the best for you as far as social media today?
Gotcha. So social media, Reels on all platforms, right? We'll do like live customer reactions. We do POVs a lot.
Yep.
So the fry is the content. We will do the making of a dish. Just things that are raw and genuine, and customers really take to that, especially in today's market.
What have you learned from Robert Herjavec? We really are inspired by him, and indirectly or directly for you.
Well, I've learned a couple of things. First of all, he believed in us because we were an underdog, and I like the idea of believing in an underdog, someone that has the passion, and maybe they don't have the resources, right? So that's one thing I learned from him. The second biggest thing I learned from him is the numbers. Rob, he's not a restaurant guy. He's a tech guy, but his team are all about the numbers, right? So reading P&Ls correctly, forecasting correctly, and I have to credit all of my learning in that area to his team. They taught me all about it.
Amazing. That one connection is all worth it.
Yeah, definitely.
Fear of failure is actually one of the biggest obstacles to starting a business, right?
Right.
I think 25 to 30% of our viewers say that that's the reason. What do you say to them? What's your advice?
Being an entrepreneur, you have to be risk advertent, meaning that you're ready always to take a risk, right? And within that risk, sometimes it's failure. But you'll never know what's on the other side of that mountain if you don't climb it, right? Me personally, we've had to climb this mountain. This was a total learning curve being in the restaurant business.
Yeah.
And we climbed it and we got to the edge and was like, do we jump or not? So that's the fear.
Yeah.
But we jumped and we caught wings on the way, right? But along with all of that, you have to have passion, because passion is going to push you through that fear. It's going to push you through those challenges. I tell everyone this, it's not ready, aim, fire. You fire and then aim. Right? It's scary, but it worked for us.
What did your previous business teach you about pivoting?
The business we were in before Buena Papa, we had a maid service and it got closed down during the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
Because we weren't able to go inside of people's houses. And immediately we kind of had to think, how do we recreate ourselves, right? So you always, as an entrepreneur, you always have to be on your toes. You always got to keep your creative juices going to have a plan, a plan A, B, or C in the pocket ready to go. And also, we talked about fear already. No fear, go into it with passion, and usually passion pushes you through.
As of today, right now, what is your biggest struggle as a business owner looking to scale your franchise and so forth? And how do you plan to overcome it?
One of the biggest struggles were from Shark Tank, we got a lot of attention, which is great, right? And we signed some franchises, and now they're a bit spread out. They're in different states, West Coast, East Coast. So the idea and the move forward is we're going to start clustering those restaurants up in Jacksonville. Maybe have 3 or 4 around here. They support each other. Better deals than vendors, cheaper costs.
Who do you turn for business advice as of right now?
Well, it's funny because, I come from an entrepreneurial family, my wife as well.
Gotcha.
So first, my wife, she's the partner. She's the same one when I'm ready to jump. Sometimes she says, let's pause and let's, reflect. And my brother-in-law, he's actually a successful businessman in New Jersey. So we have a lot of debriefing conversations weekly where we go over tons of things, and I ask him advice on things, and he asks me advice, and it really has worked out for us.
Wow, really tight-knit family business operation.
Business family, yeah.
So you don't pay any outside source mentor, coach, nothing at the moment?
Well, not at the moment, but initially we did. We brought in a consultant to help us figure out all those numbers. It was a pretty sophisticated investment, but I think it's paying off now.
What is the secret to branding, James? And what would be your advice to those who are just starting out?
You know, you make me feel like a sage when it comes to branding. The secret is you have to find something that's unique, that represents your business, your brand, what you're trying to put out to the audience. And if you're not skilled at that, hire somebody. You know, hire a graphic artist, hire a marketing agency to help you find your voice in your brand. And it has to look cohesive, it has to look professional, and it can't be a rinky-dink job. And hopefully, I know I'm a little harsh there, but you know, to be set apart, it has to be beautiful.
Any crazy stories about your branding and this development of it in a nutshell?
Well, yeah. If you look around, you'll see like the burlap, and these are highlights from Colombia representing like the Colombian potato sack. Also on the branding, you'll see like pictures of the family. And for every new franchisee, they also get a picture of their family in the branding as well. Yeah. So, I mean, it's something that makes the franchisee partner happy and makes them feel really a part of the brand. And also it sets you apart again.
Let's say we meet back here, James, in 5 years over some fries.
Okay.
Where do you want to be?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Give us an insight into your vision.
Okay. Inside my vision. Well, I definitely see 50 to 100 franchises throughout the United States. And those clusters that we talked about. I also see us internationally. We're getting a lot of international calls that we're kind of pausing on right now until we build a good foundation in the States. But maybe in Portugal, we'll have some fries. Nice. Or maybe in Canada.
So any on the West Coast yet? I haven't Googled.
Close to the West Coast, Arizona.
Okay.
Arizona should be built out in the next month or so.
You got to open one up in Bellingham, Washington.
Bellingham, Washington.
North of Seattle.
We're coming there.
Let's go.
Call us now.
Has cooking always been in your background? Talk to us a little bit about the backstory.
Funny, man. Actually, no and yes. My dad was a line cook growing up, so that's all I knew him to do. But when I was a kid looking up to him, I thought he was like an executive chef because he would always wear these hats, and I was always intrigued by what he did. And he would come home and make the most amazing dishes out of just thin air, right? And so I guess a little bit of that osmosed into me because I actually did create every dish without having a cooking background.
That's awesome.
I feel like my tongue just and brain work together to make flavors go together. And it sounds funny, but somehow it works.
You executed well.
Thank you.
It's a delicious dish.
But a lot of that inspiration comes from my father, John.
Who were your initial testers? Like, how did you know which menu items to launch or not?
Yeah. All right. So I chose my biggest critics, my kids.
Okay. They'll tell you what they think.
They are pretty vocal about what they like and don't like. And we tested it against them, man. You know, so we put these dishes in front of them. We started out with the Colombiano, and they loved it. And I said, all right, let's kick it up a notch. We created the Mexicano. They loved it. That's how we launched.
That's it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's important to have kids so they can be your testers.
Gotta have kids, man.
What would you say to people who want to be in the food industry, but they're worried about the thin margins and high turnover?
Oh, wow. Go into the QSR market. QSR means quick serve restaurant, all right? You're gonna have lower costs across the board. It's different than a fine dining restaurant where you have, I don't know, 50 staff members and square footage of 3,000 square feet. That's a lot of cost. Quick serve, as you can see, is a lot smaller footprint, and it's less fear when you're going quick serve.
You're big on looking at your goals almost every day, right? And you've used things like vision board.
Right.
Why is that important? Can you speak to that a little bit?
Well, I have my vision board right in my bathroom. I have it on my kitchen refrigerator. So anytime I'm walking by, I see what the goal is. What happens a lot of time in entrepreneurship is we call it getting lost in the papa, not lost in the sauce. You get so busy and so overwhelmed with things. It's always great to see your target every day. And it kind of realigns you every day. And you don't get lost, and you know where your journey is taking you to.
What's one last piece of advice that you would love to leave our entrepreneurs with?
Okay, so I'm a little bit crazy, right?
Crazy.
I think most entrepreneurs are crazy, right? In life, you probably know this already. There's going to be a lot of doubters. There's going to be a lot of no's, a lot of red flags. But it's smart to take calculated risk, because everyone could be an entrepreneur. They would do it, but there's a certain type of person that does it, right? So take calculated risk and don't be afraid to jump, even when there's clouds and the sea is rough. Not everything's perfect. If you have a passion for it and you plan for this, do it. Do it, no matter if your family's saying no, friends, business associates and partners. Because everyone laughed at us when they said, we're gonna make a French fry restaurant. Who has a French fry restaurant? And look at us now. So my advice to you guys, go forward, no matter what the deterrent is.
If you enjoyed this episode, you don't want to miss how a former pizza delivery driver built a $3.2 million a year mac and cheese empire with 47 locations, all powered by TikTok. Check out episode 235 with Roni's Mac Bar today. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.